Hello guys, this is Teacher Leo. I hope you're doing well, and today I'm going to explain you two lessons more, and I'm going to start with the morals show and cool. So if you have your book, please go to page 100 and you will see a little box that is the grammar and says modals show and cool. So how you can see, we have some examples that how we can use should and how we can use could, right? So now I'm going to explain you one by one in order that you can understand in the best way this lesson. So please pay attention now. All right, so I'm going to start with should, and it says that we use should and the base form of the verb to give an advice or to make strong suggestions, right? So the structure that we're gonna use should is the subject, and it could be I, you, he, she, it, they, and we, plus should plus the base form of verb. For example, if I want to say an affirmative sentences or an affirmative statement, I'm going to say she should go to class. You should go, you should study more. I should do my homework. How you can see, I'm going to, or the examples are providing suggestions, right? Or advice. For example, imagine that uh, you are worried because you know if you uh, gonna win the year, and your mom can tell you if you want to win the year, you should study more, for example, right? So so she's giving you an advice, right? Now for a negative form, we use the same structure, right? The subject should plus not, or shouldn't in this case, plus the base form of the verb. So we have the next examples, right? That says she shouldn't eat hamburgers, he shouldn't smoke cigarettes, or I shouldn't drive so fast, right? So how you can see, these examples are advice and suggestions, right? So for questions, we use the first should plus the subject plus the verb in the base form. So we have should she eat hamburgers, should he smoke cigarettes, or should I drive so fast, right? So um, these are all the different things how we can use should. So remember that we use should to give an advice or to make strong suggestions, right? And now I'm going to explain how you can use could, okay? So when we are talking about could, it says that we use could and the base form of a verb to offer alternatives or to take polite suggestions. What does it mean? It could be a helpful idea or possibly that someone mentions. Okay, so the structure is the next one, and it is the same. We use the subject. Remember that the subject could be I, you, he, she, it, they, and we, plus could plus the base form of the verb. Okay, so for example, in an affirmative form, we could say, you could ask people if they can help you. You could go to the movies or to the mall. She could make lunch or go out to eat. So how you can see, sorry, we are in these examples we are offering alternatives, right? Or saying how you can take up polite suggestions, right? Now, for negative, we use the same structure, but we could use could not or couldn't. So, for example, we have they couldn't go to the park because it is raining. He couldn't pay the bill. Christina couldn't come to the class because she is sick, right? So, that is the form that we can use couldn't or could in a negative form. For questions, we use could plus the subject plus the base form of the verb and the rest of the statement, right? So we use, for example, could I take the bus at 2:20? Or could I go to the movies? Or could you eat salad or cake? Right? So remember that we use could for possibilities, right? So now please go to the page 102 and I'm going to explain you the next lesson that is be going to, right? Okay, so in page 102 you will see the grammar box, right? And the grammar box says that we have be going to plus the base form to express the future, right? So we have some examples here and how we can use this in questions, right? So now I'm going to explain you this in the in the best way that you can understand this part, right? So now we're gonna say that we use be going to talk about future plans and intentions. Usually the decisions about the future plans has already been made. So what does mean? How we gonna use this part? Right. So the structure is the subject plus the verb to be. Remember that the verb to be is am, is, and are, right? Plus going to plus the base form of the verb. So we have some examples here that says, in an affirmative form, I'm going to say, I'm going to be a doctor, right? How you can see in this part, we have the verb to be, that is, okay, so we have the subject, that is I, the verb to be, that is am, going to, the base form of the verb, that is, in this case, be, and the complement, in this case, is a doctor, right? But this is in the future. Also, we have she's going to be a professional dancer. He's going to eat at the airport. Also, we can say imagine that says uh, my mom going to buy a ticket, or my mom going to buy a new cell phone, for example, right? Okay, for an edit form, we could use the next structure. So we have also the subject plus the verb to be. In this case, we could say not or aren't or isn't, right? Plus going to and the rest of the complement. For example, I'm not going to play handball. You are not going to cook the dinner. She isn't going to study for the exam, right? Or for example, you aren't going pay attention in this video or something like that, right? That's this is some examples, right? Now for questions, we could also we use uh, if we want to know something about someone else, we use WH questions, right? For example, when, what, where, etc., right? Plus the verb to be, that is in this case, it could be are, am, or is, plus the subject, that is in this case could be you, I, he, she, it, we, and they, plus going to and the verb in the base form. For example, we have when are you going to arrive, where is he going to wait, or are you going to watch TV tonight, right? So we have some examples here how we you can use be going to, right? Thank you for your attention, and this is all for the class, guys. So don't forget that if you have any question about it, please don't be hesitate to write to us because we are more than glad to help you. Also, if you have any questions, you can use my English lab platform to solve your doubts or to learn more about how you can use be going to or should and could, right? So thank you guys. See you next time.